Hey guys, I'm Andy, the self-help book junkie, and we're on the last part of The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. Today, it's the last part. I know, what a journey. I gotta think of what book I'm gonna do next. Haven't thought of it yet, but I think I have an idea. This one really is important because I think it knocks it out of the park. I think it ties it all up together. And this is at the end of the book, so we want to skip the few. Actually, with the last video, we want to skip the few. So this is really like the last piece of it. Let's just dive in, okay? Relationship is the ultimate spiritual path because it constantly presents us with the challenge to love and embrace in the very situations in which we're most prone to shun and reject. For that reason, above all, relationship is a place where our spirituality most visibly comes to light. You can tell more about a person's true spirituality from the way he or she treats his or her partner than you ever could from tallying that person's church attendance. Boy! And it's not even just relationships, right? Like, you know, they always say, like, oh, see how, whenever you go on a first date or something, see how they treat the waiters, right? See how it is that they treat the people who do nothing for them. I think it's so true. That's how you first start to qualify people. Then you gotta look at, okay, how do they treat their family members? How do they treat their friends? Because you're gonna be able to see how people treat you. But the spiritual part of it, the spiritual is really important here. So something that I have learned is that the people who are closest to you are the biggest test of your spiritual fitness. The people who are closest to you are gonna test you. They're gonna put you through the ringer. They're gonna challenge you. They're gonna force you to level up your game no matter what. Now, why is that? I mean, the fact that they're in your periphery, the fact that they're like so close to you in like your orbit, 100%, that's like the first piece of it. But the second piece of it is that they have their own shit that they're dealing with, right? So they're not always gonna be happy. They're not always gonna be like in the right state of mind. Stuff's gonna happen to them. They're gonna have tragedy. They're gonna have challenges of their own. They're gonna have to navigate that. And then you're gonna have to navigate being with that person while they're going through challenges. So it's not like the people who are around you are gonna be living this perfect life. They're going to be having challenges and shit that's like flying at them. So they're not going to be nice all the time. They're not going to be kind all the time. They're not going to be considerate every single moment of every single day. And so you have to learn, how do I navigate that? Your partner is one of the most challenging because this is a person that you share an intimacy with that you don't share with anybody else. Not with your parents, not with your friends, not with your coworkers, not with your children. This is an intimacy that is solely between you and another adult human being. This is solely a spiritual connection that you can only have with one person. Let's not talk about the polygamy and all that open relationship stuff. What I'm talking about is the spiritual connection between two people that are together. That physical intimacy that you get when you're with a partner, especially long-term partners, that intertwining of your soul's connection is one of the most potent and powerful relationships that you can spiritually grow from, that is going to be important. Think about how it spills into other things. Like when you have a strong relationship with your partner, you know that your kids are better for it. Your friends and your family look more to you. You know that you have a better career when you're in a relationship. Think of how many presidents were single in the United States. None of them. People view you as having it together when you're married or you're partnered up. That it's just an inherent fact of sociological appearances. And there's some truth to it. It's because when you are intertwined with somebody like that, you are being put to the highest tests that you can possibly be put through spiritually, mentally, psychologically, physically, financially. And it's beautiful because when you are expressing this much love and compassion for somebody, that it can like leak out into other relationships like that, is beautiful, is powerful. When you learn to overcome your partner's stuff, it becomes so powerful and you become like a shining light yourself. That's really important to notice. But this other part that I really like is that the way that you treat people is better than the actions that you take to pretend like you're doing spiritual work. So in here they use the example of, your church attendance, but it doesn't matter. It could be a synagogue, a mosque, it could be, going to a Kabbalah center, it could be going anywhere. Your attendance there doesn't matter. It's really how are you putting into practice. And I've read enough books to know that the real challenge is putting in all of these secrets into practice, that you are not actually doing anything just by reading the book. We just talked about this last week. Doesn't matter whether you take the course, you take the class, you get the certificate, you get the guru, you get the book, you get the program, you get the audiobook, whatever it is. That action is not enough. You have to take the information, integrate it into who you are, and practice it. And the person who you're going to practice it with most is your partner, is your spouse, is your boyfriend, is your girlfriend. That relationship is going to expose so much of yourself. Because think about this, right? I could be on the beach under my little umbrella with a little soda water, eating some grapes and, praying to God, listening to the waves in the moment, spiritually 100% amazing. I'm at my highest self. And then my husband comes in and he starts talking to me while I'm in, my space. And I'm like, what the F? Clearly, I'm not that spiritually fit. Clearly, I'm not practicing spirituality because I can just shut it off like that. Like, it's not very strong. If I have to have the ideal situation, the halcyon days, the idyllic circumstances in order to be able to be spiritual, then it's not really spirituality. We've just put a nice pillow under our head and said, yeah, we're on vacation. The real trick is when people come into your space, how do you treat them? Do you feel love for them? Do you care about them? Do you want them to be happy and enjoying the space too? Are you trying to put the pillow under their head so that they can equally be on vacation as you are spiritually? That is the ultimate test. Okay, guys, we're done with the big leap. We've big leapt all over the place. We've shared so much. And ultimately, the main takeaway of this book for me is that there are self-limiting beliefs that keep us and prevent us from taking a big leap into our future self. These self-limiting beliefs, they come into our subconscious and they fuck everything up. But you have the ability to change that if you just try. I'm going to put a link to the book in the description. I'm also going to put a link to my book, Writing for My Life, because it's about journaling, because journaling, prayer, and meditation have helped me so much in my life. And also my podcast. Have you checked out my podcast? You should check out my podcast. It's called Mindset Matters More. You're going to get so much more Andy there. Okay? Love you guys. Bye.